Brandon Marshall, who personally has been involved in incidents of his own in the past, held a news conference yesterday to address it and the current domestic violence issues in the NFL.
I believe in second chances. I believe that, those guys, I don't know their cases. I haven't read their cases. I haven't listened to any, testimony or statements. I just want the process to play itself out because we don't know. And I just think it's unfair for us to play judge and jury, off top. That's the only part I don't like about it. It's just that I just want us to, whether if it takes a day or if it takes a month for us to do our due diligence. I've sat back and, accepted my part in everything that I've done, everything that I've been a part of. Domestic violence is wrong. I hate to bring up someone else's name, but the Ray Rice case is terrible. The things that I've been through in the past is terrible. I believe that there should be consequences. I believe in the 6-game suspension and being suspended indefinitely. Hey, maybe, that may have been me.
Marshall, during that press conference you just watched, handed out a 12-page packet to the media, documents that were specifically involving his own issues that, again, are public, and he was very, very open and candid with everyone there. Stephen A., what's your reaction to this?
I don't know how popular it is or whatever, but I stand in support of Brandon Marshall. I don't know what he's had to say about this network, whatever the case may be. That's for him to address with the folks here at the network. But I know this much. When Brandon Marshall and I have spoken privately, he's been incredibly candid and incredibly honest. When he showed up on this show, he's been incredibly candid and incredibly honest. Outside of Michael Vick and how he has conducted himself in the aftermath of being incarcerated over the dogfighting scandal, I don't know anybody who's been more upfront, more honest, more candid, more real than Brandon Marshall. He's been loquacious in the process, never hesitant to discuss his issues, what he feels and why. He does get a bit long-winded when it comes to trying to express and convey the positives beyond those incidences himself. He won't allow you to live in his past and for that to define him. But I think he has a right to do that because he's made such a concerted effort to address his issues since revealing that he had borderline personality disorder, and he's been incredibly open and honest about it, not just in terms of him seeking help, but in terms of him encouraging others who he believes may have those problems to seek help. Now, I understand that, he got born again, got religious, and that played a factor. And when he and I were on the phone one time, I certainly didn't feel the need to listen to him as if he was my pastor, okay? But that's about the only problem that I ever had with him, and it wasn't really a problem. I just went trying to Pastor A.R. Bernard, Christian Cultural Center, Brooklyn, New York. That's my pastor. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting elected by anybody else on that level. That's him. But outside of that, I've never had a problem with Brandon Marshall. Matter of fact, when I think about people who get in trouble, who do the wrong things, who end up paying a price for it, the aspiration that we have from them in this land of second chances, Skip Bayless, is personified by Brandon Marshall. Right. He exemplifies to me what we're talking about when we talk about guys deserving a second chance and an opportunity to redeem themselves. I applaud him. I support him. And I know this much about Brandon Marshall. There is nothing that I've seen or heard from him in the last 4 to 5 years that has remotely come close to being untrue, disingenuous, or anything like that. I think that he's a good brother, like I've said many times. I only got one problem with him, and that's them damn pom-poms he wears for Jay Cutler. That's my problem. Too many pom-poms for Jay Cutler. That's about it.
Good point. You said not only did he get a second chance, but he did something with his second chance. He redeemed himself with that second chance. Skip, your reaction to the press conference.
This is tricky. I believe in the rehabilitated Brandon Marshall. I second all your emotions. I have gotten to know him off camera enough that, and again, I could eat these words because I don't live with him.
Sure.
But I believe he has God in his heart now. And I believe he has nothing but good intentions in his life. And I believe in his advocacy of mental health awareness. I think it's legit. I think it is straight from his heart. I don't think there's any phoniness to him now. And I do believe he deserved a second chance, as everybody does, and he deserved the opportunity to show the world that his actions will speak much louder than all these words that he felt compelled to speak yesterday, because he's under fire from Gloria Allred and the ex-girlfriend and her father. And just to reiterate for people, just to be completely objective and fair, between 2006 and 2008, Brandon Marshall was the face of domestic violence in the National Football League. If you look at police reports had to be written 12 times on 8 separate incidents in 3 states. Whew. He did go to trial, 2009, for the domestic violence. It was misdemeanor domestic violence, is what I was trying to say. And he was acquitted of that charge. But then again in 2011 with his current wife, they got into a conflict and she wound up stabbing him in the stomach with a knife. Okay, so that's in his past, because I believe he is a changed man. Now again, I could eat those words, but I believe he's a changed man. So now the question becomes, in the new climate we're in, with the much stiffer penalties now for NFL domestic violence, how retroactive should these penalties be? Should we go back to 06, 07, 08 and revisit? Because he got off during that time with a 3-game suspension that was reduced to 1 game. Okay. Well, as he pointed out yesterday, under the current system, and he said, I believe in the 6th game for the first offense.
And indefinite suspension.
Well, I think he would have wound up real quickly on that exempt list, right?
No, he would have been a lifetime ban.
It could have been a lifetime ban. Yeah, sure, it could have been. And he knows that, and he's admitting to that. Yes. And he thinks all these things in his past, to quote him, were terrible, because they were. They were god-awful terrible. So now, how much should he be held accountable for what he used to be? Again, I'm accepting that he's a changed man. What do you think? How accountable?
You're saying, should this be retroactive in this case?
Yeah, because that's... No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Zero.
He got an opportunity, and he seized the opportunity to change. Yeah. And he appears to have a good relationship with the current wife, who's now pregnant with twins. Yes. Again, I don't live with them, but
but we've seen them. They've been on the show. When they're here, they seem to have a really again, we don't know, but he can't be read.
But let's also be careful about this. We ain't saying that Brandon Marshall should be left off the hook because he's been on the show.
No.
And we like him. And he appears to be honest, and his contrition appears to be real. No. We're saying that his body of work exemplifies everything that we've seen up close. And it validates everything that we've seen up close when we've been around him. We live in a society where we have to make a decision. When people make a mistake, should they get, figuratively speaking, of course, should they get the death penalty, meaning no second chances? Okay. Because if we're not saying that, then you have to give somebody a chance to redeem themselves, which is what America is all about. If indeed a person has been given that opportunity and they display that they have earned the right for us to look forward and not backward, then we need to be real and fair to those people. Brandon Marshall is one of those people. I'm not saying that you don't report and record and even address the trials and tribulations that he endured in the past, what he put himself through, what he put others through. I'm not saying that you ignore that. What I'm saying is that he has earned the right that when his name comes up, you must ultimately focus and talk about what he is. Not just what he was. Exactly. Because this is what it's all about right here. You want somebody that shows an ability to evolve and learn from their mistakes, because it gives hope to a lot of people out there who've made mistakes, that they're not finished products. Him and Michael Vick have done that. The Humane Society with Michael Vick, obviously this is a totally different situation, because that's animals, that's dogs. But my Lord, do you see how much attention Michael Vick has brought to the issue of animal cruelty,
Yes.
and how positive of an impact he has had on that, you don't ignore that. You applaud it. You applaud it.
All right, so we all agree you definitely deserve a second chance in this case, in all cases, actually.